So I'm going to be blogging about what I'm trying to do with the Tristram copy. So first I made a pretty rough GDD of just like every random feature. And then this was extremely rough. I'm going to share the first version of what it is. There's even a bunch of to-dos. And, Tristram's not that complicated. So it actually ended up only being, at least this version, about 16,000 characters. Not sure how many words that is. We fed that into Fable, and then multiple times we ask, is there anything unclear with this GDD? Is there anything incorrect or mistakes? It gave us a bunch of notes, so we go ahead and correct it over time. And as we scroll down, it says, yep, we need visuals, we need game sprites, we need to fix all these mistakes. And so I just type in, let's change the GDD to specify days instead of years, because that was a problem of where my GDD was kind of flip-flopping between days and years. There's a bunch of other things in here that are incorrect. The LLM was able to identify. So just tell it to update it. Okay, and then we're gonna keep updating. All right, so then it keeps going. It says like, look, these are things that are also still not working or missing, could use some efforts. And so we're going to specify more updates, going back and forth. And then I specify that all the actual damage numbers of characters, it's going to be kind of up to the LLM. So we're just going to tell a LLM to create its own file over there. And then here is actually my current status. I ask it, how are we going to visualize this? Because there's a lot of visuals that we kind of need for this game. And so it says, okay, there's a couple step opportunities. We can use just local HTML markup and some other artifact tools. So I decided to go with its recommendation of just creating HTML. So I said, go ahead and make a pass at HTML kind of mockups. So made all these mockups, even created an index so that I can navigate through these mockups. So this is a dungeon dive. It's very similar to Tristram. As you see, there's 3 screens or 3 rows. And then we can go here. We can see the hero stat panel. I've changed some things. So the money used to be right here in the middle. And I also added morale and morale regen. That's not something that's in the actual Tristram. But then, yeah, everything else is basically the same. Obviously, extremely rough art. And this one is actually vertical instead of horizontal. I actually didn't hate the look of that, so I just kept that as is. But it didn't start out like this. It was way worse. So we're gonna ask the AI, so hey, for the hero panel, change the title so it's title and then subtitle, because it used to just be one word, and then a bunch of other stuff. So changes the UI, HTML markup very quickly, and then boom. And then we're gonna continue working through this. So I'm gonna do a little live demo. So this dungeon panel is pretty close. There's one problem. These hero party icons in the top left of each row should be vertically aligned instead of horizontal. So I'm gonna say in the dungeon row need to be vertically aligned, not displayed horizontally. A row the top corner. All right. And then anything else? And then move the stairs down. It's bordering the right side of the dungeon row. And then move the boss enemy. I don't know. Stairs. And then I think that's about it. Otherwise, it would be pretty accurate to what the game is. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then, so while it's doing that, we can go to these two. I haven't seen these before. Expedition summary. This is pretty good, but I can see that there's too much space to the right. So the expedition summary, space on right most column. Sure, each column is roughly the same size. Murdered by Grunt, slain by a caster. Interesting. Fled. So I'm gonna say it should also not say unless the and red icon for their con. So, so it's done. Let me just see that. Hit refresh. All right, so I moved it to the right. Moved that to the right. That's pretty accurate. I think one. Oh, another thing here is the level icon is incorrect. It should actually be basically the same as the hero panel.html. And it should probably be on the right. So we're gonna say on the hero XP bar, the rightmost move move the level adventures to be over the rightmost right XP bar. It should look like the XP bar level indicator, which is a number over the shield. All right, that's pretty good. Otherwise, this is pretty accurate to what I wanted. Only a couple mistakes. Probably don't need to say level 1 to 2. And then starting out, summon. Okay, this is pretty accurate, so I'm gonna leave this alone. Yeah, I think we're almost ready.